Welcome to the Full-Time Fantasy Podcast, presented by the Fantasy Football World Championship, home to the industry's most accurate rankings.
What is up, everyone? My name is Adam Krautwurst. Welcome to the Full-Time Fantasy Football Podcast. I'm here with Jody, the man, Mr. Full-Time himself, ready to do a SuperFlex Bowl draft tonight. Jody, are you excited or what? I'm fired up. I love SuperFlex.
Yeah, we're on the clock, and it worked out perfect, Adam, because like I told you right before we went online here, I got picked 103 and you're down at 10. So we're not going to be sniping each other, which is always positive, but we can also get different feels for strategies and just a different overall approaches for it at the beginning and at the end of a draft. So that kind of worked out perfectly. And
yeah,
obviously I'm taking
oh yeah, that's right.
So I took Jalen Hurts with the 103. To me, that was a no-brainer. You've got the number one top tier of quarterbacks in the SuperFlex format. You're typically going to see them go off the board 1, 2, 3, and that's how it played out. So to me, it was just an issue of which one of those three was going to be available, and I figured it'd be Hurts. And to be honest, I kind of have him as my 102 right now, so a little bit of value there.
Yeah, no, I love that. That's nice that everything kind of went to plan there for you. I'm excited too. This is probably my 5th SuperFlex Bowl over here. And I've loved the way the boards have fallen. I love this tournament. I did pretty well on it last year. I think I finished top 10. So I'm probably going to max this bad boy out and have fun doing it. Because SuperFlex to me is like the new best way to do it. I mean, it's the most important position in all of sports to me is the quarterback position.
So weird. You know what? I'm in a rookie draft for a dynasty league that kind of got delayed because we had to replace a manager and it took a while. But it's not SuperFlex, and to me it was so weird because it's the first one I've done, and I don't know how long where it was just position rookies, and it was odd because rewind the clock 6 to 8 years ago, and PPR was still not all locked in like it is now. But now here it is, again, next week for emailing them, I'm doing a draft and it's in standard scoring, which to me, I'm like, what? It's like throw back the clock. But SuperFlex is becoming more normal. And I think in a few more years, it'll be pretty much like PPR is now, where every league is up. And I see that quarterbacks went 1 through 6, which is not all that surprising in SuperFlex. And you're getting pretty close here. So you might have a nice pick of any running back you want. And the only wide receiver gone is Justin Jefferson, who went at 107.
Yeah, I mean, the guys I got in my queue are McCaffrey, Eckler, Chase, and Kelsey.
Well, that's already and you got your choice of the running backs.
Yeah. I haven't built a Kelsey non-tight end premium team yet in these type things. So I'm kind of be interested. I'm going to do so many of these that I kind of want to try some different builds, but
I like what Alex did with Herbert, because like I've said many times, he's my QB4 right now. So
yeah, the one I did the other night, I went Herbert at the 107, I think, or maybe even the 109, somewhere in that range, and I loved it. I love the way, because you can stack those guys pretty easily. So there's no QB here that I'm not taking any of these QBs in the first round of a draft. So it sounds like we extended Joel here, or Joey, just Joey at NYC.
He's signed in. May have had a little communication issue there, but it looks like he's logged in, ready to go. So converted.
But it's just the thing I love about SuperFlex drafts too is there's so many different, like the first round isn't going to be the same every single time. Like this one, you've got a ton of quarterbacks. Sometimes you get the running backs or receivers that sneak up in the middle. Like you can build your roster so many different ways. So I just think it's super cool that the ability to be able to do that with the different flex positions and all that type of stuff. So someone asked to see, is he stuck in the New York smoke haze? It's I don't know how it is down there where you are, Jody, but we've got a smoke haze up here.
All of that. I had the worst air quality in the world yesterday, and that's nothing unusual for me basically being in the Houston area, but so I'm kind of used to it, but it's pretty alarming. I saw footage at Yankee Stadium.
Yep. Yeah. With the sun, that's how it is here. I walked out of my house this morning and it was just a orange haze. I looked like I was on a planet in Star Wars or something, but so yeah, no, but back to the draft. It's been super quarterback heavy, like I expected, and I'm more than happy to take I'd be more than happy to take a quarterback. I'm sorry, any other position but a quarterback here. So I'm excited for that. Yeah, so hopefully we can get Joey going here and get into this draft here. So we'll probably, for people watching, we'll probably do like the first 10 to 12 rounds, go about 45 minutes to an hour, and then everybody finish up those other rounds on their own. But yeah, so how this works is SuperFlex. You can start a quarterback in the flex spot. You can also start up to 5 receivers. You have to start 2 running backs. You have to start 3 receivers. But with the flex positions, you can start up to 5 receivers. You can start up to 2 quarterbacks. And you have to start 1 tight end. Tight end can also play the flex position as well. So
this is best ball, correct? So
this is best ball.
As a veteran of FFWC and of SuperFlex draft yourself, how does that impact your decision making through the draft? And are you more likely to make reaches, or are you more likely to play it safe? What's your strategy with knowing that there's no waivers, there's no free agency, and you're stuck with your team?
Yeah, I'm more likely to take the positions that I would normally like. I'm much less likely to go like a hero RB or something, or a 0 RB in best ball, because of there's no roster. You can't change anything in your roster, right? Mid-season.
You're up right now.
I am up. Yep. I'm going to go Jamar Chase here at the 110.
I like that. Gotta like getting Jamar Chase at and I've seen him at plenty of people have him as their 101 at receiver. So yeah, gotta like getting that at 10 overall.
He might even be physically, he might even be the best receiver in the NFL. It's so I wouldn't surprise anybody if he finished number 1, as long as he stays healthy. That's the whole key there. I love plus Jody. I don't know how you factor, because you're really good at projections and rankings and all that stuff. Like, how does that factor into your projections at all when we're talking about? I like receivers that play on teams with quarterbacks that are pocket passers, because they're less likely to run. They're less likely to scramble. And again, some of that scrambling can lead to big plays outside the pocket. But I like receivers on teams that have guys like, Joe Burrow, Justin Jefferson with Cousins. Cousins isn't running anywhere. You get all these. Look at all the top ones, right? You got Burrow. You got Cousins as far as like the pocket passers. Cooper Kupp is with Stafford. Tyreek Hill's with Tua. Like, all those top guys are with quarterbacks that aren't going to run. Do you factor that all into your rankings?
You do. You're less likely for quarterbacks like that. They're more likely to just try to heave the ball downfield or put it in the hands of their playmakers than they are to try to make things happen with their feet. And, it has a bigger impact with these, the running quarterbacks. You see them throw less passes to the running back. So, typically, yes. If I'm looking if it's full PPR, like we have here at FFWC, and I'm wanting to take a, running back that's going to catch passes. Like, for instance, DeAndre Swift getting traded to Philadelphia. You have to think, well, Swift makes his money on those outlet passes and being a dangerous receiver out of the backfield. But going to Philadelphia, which, if I'm not mistaken, the Eagles threw the fewest passes to running backs last season. It's kind of interesting, something to factor in. What do you do with Swift then? Because he's got, all the talent, all the capabilities of being, a high-end RB2 in the right offense. But is this the right offense?
Real quick, did something happen with Eckler today that I'm not aware of? No trade rumors.
He last week, he signed on.
RB4 in this draft. Like, I'll take that, right? I was going to go Kelsey here, but it's not. be off, and then he's going to fall to the 4.
Kelsey is still available here at 2-4 is, what's kind of boggling. But hey, you got the way the board played out, you're able to get, what some consider their wide receiver 101, and running back. You could argue Austin Eckler is just deserving to be the RB 101. So really interesting build, for you. Obviously, you're taking your chances at quarterback, but you're a smart guy. You're capable of waiting and filling that out. So we'll see how that plays out. It's going to be, like I said, I just love the contrast of styles. Just the way the draft gods were kind to us when it came to putting us at separate ends, so we could see this kind of build. I went with the easy stereotype build of a super flex, and the way things played out, you're just knocking them values down as they fall on your lap.
Yeah, this would be great. I mean, I'm surprised they didn't go McCaffrey and Kelsey there. I mean, if it wasn't for, to me, I'm looking at, okay, this is a tournament. I'm going to have a bunch of teams. Like, how often is Eckler going to go as the RB4 and be able to be paired up with Chase? Mm-hmm. But then again, the same thing could be said about Chase and Kelsey too. And there you go. Jefferson, Kelsey. You might have the wide receiver 1 and the tight end 1. That's a great pick.
Yeah, you gotta like having Kelsey.
Lucky Mike. He's Lucky Mike for a reason. I'll tell you that much.
Lucky Mike started with Justin Jefferson and Travis Kelsey, so he's got the number 1 player at 2 positions, so can't be unhappy with that start.
No, not at all. So yeah, I've gone quarterback heavy. I usually go QB heavy, but I haven't had this specific spot yet in the draft. So like to be able to get Chase and Eckler, and then just obviously I'm not gonna fade quarterback. I got to come back around and get some, but it depends. I'm really at the whim of like what everybody else does. Like here, we give all these quarterback starts. You got 3 teams already with quarterback starts. I mean, if it gets back around to me again and there's no QBs that I think are worth it, I mean, am I going to pass on, RB6 or like, wide receiver 8 or something?
You can win with Sam Howell and Baker Mayfield as your tandem.
You just have to take more. Yeah, the build. It all depends on the build. The build and the structure is very important when it comes to basketball.
Desperately hoping that Cooper Kupp would fall to me there. So
that would have been sweet. But yeah, structure is very important in best ball. Like it's about,
I'll take CeeDee Lamb as my consolation prize.
There you go.
But I do have Cooper Kupp rated ahead of him, so that was a nice pick by Team Reynolds.
Did you think about the stack at all there? On with Hurts and AJ Brown?
No, I mean, I just have AJ Brown's fine. Sure. I mean, it makes sense, but I just have CeeDee Lamb as my wide receiver 5, and I have AJ Brown down at, around 8. So
yeah, and he might come back to you too. Here, I don't want
to.
Yeah, he might come back to you too. I don't want to jinx it. I don't know who's watching, who's in the draft, and all that stuff either. That's what's tough about these. We're talking about. Yeah. I try not to give too much away, and I'm over there. Did you think about AJ Brown? Like a jerk. But yeah, this is that's why Superflex is fun too, because like you feel like you like every pick because with quarterbacks, huh?
Yeah, Bronco must have been listening. That's exactly who he just shook. Was that AJ Brown? So
if he can get both, yeah, there you go. So yeah, because you feel like every pick's tough because you like so many guys a lot of times, like because there's wide receiver, running back you're going to love because the value, but then you're like, man, I have to take a quarterback because quarterbacks you have to start in super flex. In the flex, not you don't actually have to, but even QB 20 is going to score more than most receivers.
The math dictates that's
math dictates it, right? Right, exactly.
And it's me.
And it's you. I'm excited. I'm on the edge of my seat. It's not going to be that. Okay. Could be that. Cousins, yeah. It's just.
I don't have enough shares of Amon-Ra St. Brown yet, so I'm going to sneak up and take him. I haven't had the fortune in a lot of the drafts that I've had today that I've gotten a lower in, like in all the underdog and other drafts I've been doing. I keep getting a top 6 pick, which is fine, but I keep wanting to stack Amon-Ra St. Brown, and I've been able to do it once. I started with Diggs and St. Brown. Like I said, I felt like I was like, I got this Elite One already. It felt great, but the value is almost completely gone with Amon-Ra St. Brown. I mean, I love him overall, and that's why at this point I took him, because I felt like, you know what, I just don't have enough shares of him so far. I'm going to go ahead and take it. I thought about another quarterback here, but it seems like the QB run has kind of dried up, which is great news for you. Still waiting to take your first, right?
I am. And there's a couple guys I don't mind here either. I could even double tap quarterback here and like my picks, So, yeah. I mean, I don't think these guys are going to go back to back, 3 straight QBs. So I'm assuming we'll get one out of Lucky Mike and maybe out of Joel or Joey. But yeah, we'll see how this all plays out for sure.
Yeah, Nick Chubb was another name I was looking at there when I took Amon-Ra, because I think Nick right now, Nick Chubb's in a really strong position to see an increased involvement out of the backfield, because as of right now, we haven't seen Kareem Hunt resign. Sounds like they're not really interested. They didn't really do anything else as far as competition. So you have to like Nick Chubb's chances of and he's been so consistent. He stayed healthy. He's getting their goal line runs and all that. So, you're going to see Nick Chubb. He's going to be up there. I think when the projections are said and done, he's going to be he's already a top 5, but he's approaching top 3 territory for me.
Yeah, for sure. Flying
for the picks now.
That's right. I am on the clock now, aren't I? Let's go. I'm going to go with my guy here. I'm going to go with him.
And how?
I'm going to go
Baker.
It's so hard. That's the hard thing about Superflex is like, do I really want to take Geno Smith over like Chris Olave? It's like, but
No, I mean, yeah, I can understand it, but
I have to. I got to do it. Got to take my guy Geno. So
it presents interesting opportunities for stacking later on.
Yes.
Maybe I probably shouldn't have said that, but
no, people listen. Everyone knows.
It's easy to do.
Right. Oh, QB for Autumn Wind. Wow. Is
that right?
Interesting. Lauren
Autumn Wind's going with a triple QB stack.
Yep. And then ignore the position. It's probably not the worst strategy in the world.
If you think about it, we're in best ball, so it adds a little more relevancy to it. At this point, like you just said, he's or she is done at quarterback. At the same time, you're also taking away a potentially a QB1 in Aaron Rodgers. You're potentially taking them away from you gentlemen who have yet to take a quarterback. So interesting approach.
Yep. So, and then Richardson. Mm-hmm. That was my guy.
That's the swing for the fences pick. I mean,
I love. So
that's what you're doing in best ball.
I've taken him in 3 of these, and I usually get him in the 3rd, and I'm ecstatic. I'm like, maybe I can let him.
He drifted into the 4th.
And he drifted, and he got him. That's a great pick. I was going to go Richardson back to back.
Great guy this year too. We were just talking about top tier running backs, and I think he's got top 5 potential.
Yep.
I'm not calling him, just saying he's got the potential to do it.
So the question is now, do I go with another QB, I think, or do I wait and go? I think I'm going to.
You can pair up one of your.
I know. I could stack here. I think I'm going to go with a guy that you're high on this year. Quarterback Russell Wilson.
Well, I was futilely hoping he would fall to me next. I can't blame you there. I have him, I think, at my QB 11.
Yeah.
And so that's a really outstanding value, because I think he's 14 or 15 are off the board already. So
And the good thing about this is I can also cheaply stack both of these guys still. Like I was thinking about Metcalf and like, do I just stack Geno, get Metcalf? I knew Wilson wouldn't fall back. I'm like, but if there's another run of quarterbacks, like I could get stuck with like Mac Jones as my QB2, which wouldn't be the worst thing if my QB1 was like, if it was like a Herbert Mac Jones, okay. But you can't have Geno Mac Jones in a super flex. So I was like, you know what, let me just play it safe at quarterback. And now I can still stack these guys with the receivers later, which is really what you're looking to do.
Geno and who was it? Mac Jones. Yeah, that Geno would have been carrying that team obviously last year, but there's some potential that Mac Jones bounces back. You have Bill O'Brien in New England now.
Yeah.
Honestly, Adam, you would do a better job as an offensive coordinator than what New England did last year. I don't know how they let themselves fall into that situation, but as much as I detest Bill O'Brien from his time here in Houston, he will do some good things for New England's offense if Mac Jones can keep himself on the field without out of Bill Belichick's doghouse. He's got the potential to be a decent, I think, QB2, a decent option in superflex leagues.
Yeah, and that was kind of one of the reasons why he caught my eye, because I do agree with you there, for sure. But I would just prefer him. But that was kind of the Russell Wilson argument too. Is his offensive coordinator was so bad too. Like, now he's bringing in one of the all-time greats, at calling an offense in Sean Payton. So hopefully that can turn things around there. Man, this draft is so interesting. Two teams have 3 quarterbacks by the middle of round 4, which is great if you waited on quarterback. You only have 1, which is great for you. I waited, so I like that, but it's able to push some of these skill guys down to you and myself, able to get Eckler in the second. And one of the reasons why I also passed on Kelsey too, as much as I love him and that's great value for him there mid-second, is because here we are in the late 4th, and there's only been 2 tight ends taken. Like, it's not tight end premium. So a lot of times in these style drafts, you can really, really wait a long time and still get, and in best ball too, you can go tight end by committee, which is what one of us might end up doing in this draft, or somebody will, where you take 3 late tight ends and stack up on all the other positions. So I'm more than comfortable doing that. So that's something that I certainly could do. But we will see for sure. So you took Metcalf there.
Yeah, kind of tilted. I was waiting to take Tony Pollard, and he went the spot in front of me. Nice job by Reynolds again, sniping me. So, and I didn't like what I saw at quarterback. So at that point, I just took the safest receiver on my board.
Yep. No, that's fine. Now you've got the nice. Look at you going 0 RB.
Yeah. I was not expecting this build. This is more like a regular, single quarterback PPR build that I would see. So not the typical superflex build that I would expect, but QBs, I mean, hot to trot in this particular draft.
Yeah, no, that's fine. I mean, if you're going to be heavy, you want to be heavy receivers a way to go. You have to start 3, right? So yeah, I mean, that's the way to go. I mean, and I'll show here. Thanks to the stat group for putting this up. 1 QB, 2 running backs, 3 receivers, 1 tight end, no kicker or defense. Love that. And then 2 flex players. So you can start up to 5 receivers, but you're probably going to start a quarterback, hopefully, in that flex spot. So you're probably going to start 4 receivers. You will probably start 4 receivers.
Yeah, for sure.
So that'll be interesting. But yeah, so far through 4 rounds, in the 5th round, we get the number 1 team takes their second quarterback in round 5.
Not really liking this pick right here, but the way quarterbacks are going, I'm going to go ahead and secure my QB2. I think Stafford's got some rebound potential. That said, I still have him as a lowered, down in the low teens QB2. So, for the strategy I was anticipating for this particular draft, having an early pick, I wasn't anticipating having to snipe or having to take Matthew Stafford in round 5 as my QB2, but that's just the way it played out. We have some people here clearly that are prioritizing quarterback, and it's another. I like that pick. I like what Team Reynolds is doing here. He's taking a lot of players that I feel like I'm pretty high on, and the way the draft board's fallen, just scooping them up, and it's about all you can hope for.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, so that team is the one that stands out to you. The thing that kind of stands out to me is that we have 3 teams with 3 quarterbacks through 4 rounds, and we had 2 teams with 3 quarterbacks through 3 rounds. That stands out to me. Hopefully, I mean, anything can work, but hopefully the 3 teams with 3 quarterbacks don't take another quarterback for the rest of the draft for their sake, which is probably what they're going to do. And you like hear from Godfather goes 3 quarterbacks, 2 running backs. So he's going to have the strategy, it looks like, of being really high in 2 positions, those 2 positions early. Nash is a great pick. I had him queued up, and then just pounding receiver late. But he's going to be probably competing with 2 other teams here that are going to be pounding receiver late. So it'll be interesting to see how that plays out. Let's see here. I'm coming up here in a couple picks here. Oh man.
Everybody that we're running a contest tonight. Everyone who likes and subscribes and types "Put me in, coach" can win a DTFC seat tonight. Put me in, coach. Like and subscribe, and you win a free seat for tonight's draft.
I love it. I love it. I love when they're giving away free seats.
Yeah. All you got to do is something most people have probably already subscribed, so that's already done. All you got to do is like it, and then put me in, coach. That's all you got to do.
Yep. Easy.
I'm going to put it in. Maybe I'll win.
Do it. All right. I'm going to take Christian Watson, a guy I'm high on as a second-year exploding. Drafting second-year wide receivers has just been like printing money the last 4 or 5 years. Just they end up breaking out. They end up, he's going to be the number 1 receiver there. He's a physical freak, and so I know a lot of guys in the industry. I know Dwayne McFarland speaks very highly of him. He loves him. So I'm on board with him as well. Jody, where do you have Watson in like your rankings? Are you higher on him?
I'm a little cool. I mean, love the talent overall. I still have questions about Jordan Love. I think Green Bay is really, really interesting because if Jordan Love takes the same career arc of Aaron Rodgers, which is that first 2 to 3 years of sitting and learning, if he comes in, I don't think he has any capability of being Aaron Rodgers. But if he comes in and is a credible NFL quarterback, then you've got to really like the potential for what Green Bay did overall. They got some interesting pieces around him. They got 2 good running backs, one of which is in a contract year. I released that earlier this week, contract year things and players and what to look for. But they got some interesting weapons around him. It almost feels like I know they didn't spend an early pick on a wide receiver again, but it almost feels like they finally got some weapons. And had Aaron Rodgers stuck it out, be interesting to see what he could do with that team. But that's just where it comes into me. It depends on where you come in with Jordan Love. I mean, I still have Jordan Love in the mid-20s right now, but I'm cautiously optimistic. So he's one of the things to watch, I think, this summer is how he progresses.
Yeah, I think I agree. I love the upside there. I mean, getting him as where I can't read that. Getting Watson as wide receiver 19. I like that. I could see that being his weekly. I think it'll be consistent too. I mean, he's a touchdown machine. He's a catch and run machine. So I like it. I'm going to go with a stack here. I'm going to go with a Judy stack here. Judy, Russell Wilson. I've got some other receivers a little bit higher, but in best ball, I think it's very important to stack your guys for sure. And so I went with Judy. I like Judy this year. Like if Russell, what you're doing, everyone, is you're banking on you being right in this specific draft, right? Like if I'm going to draft Russell Wilson as my QB2, my flex QB, I'm banking on him on being right and him being good. And if he's going to be good, Judy's going to be good, right? So that's just kind of how that works. So that's why stacking works. If Russell Wilson has a big week, Judy's going to have a big week.
He ended the year on a really good note. I mean, you almost want to write off most of what you saw out of Denver last year, but you did see 2 top 5 quarterback performances overall out of Russell Wilson the last 2 games after they fired Nathaniel Hackett. Judy had a nice run to end the season. And of course, with their offensive system in place now, that's a scheme that's generally been really, really favorable towards the X receiver. So Cortland Sutton, someone to watch too. Overall, I mean, I like Denver. Like I said, I have Russell Wilson as my QB 11. I was futilely hoping in this draft he would somehow slide to me. He didn't. Somebody else must be on the ball with that. So, but I have been able to scoop up a lot of Russell Wilson in drafts I'm in. So maybe that brought some arrogance into the strategy tonight.
Hey, listen, draft arrogant, Jody. Okay, that should be your team name. Draft arrogant.
Well, the way this room is playing out, right? This is the thing where you have to be flexible with drafts. This room looks like it's pretty savvy, which isn't surprising to me. But I'm a little taken back because I'm having to reach for people that I generally don't want to take this early. And it's like, my pick of Matthew Stafford felt like a survival, pick of sorts for me. So, yeah, I got to be a little bit more proactive here, which means I'm going to have to start taking guys, a little earlier than I want to, simply because this room is proving that I'm not going to be able to get them later, especially in the long wait after I go at 10 and then 3, which is, what I'm fixing to do. That's going to be, the long wait. So I've got to make sure at this particular run that I take my guys that I want, not sit around, because that's a long gap between the end of the beginning of the 7th and the end of the 8th.
Yeah, no, I completely agree. And you're on the clock here, Jody. I don't know if you were aware of that.
No, I didn't.
Make your pick. Come on, let's go. I don't want you to.
I'll take one of the guys that I'm really, really high on this year. So I'll take my first running back, and J.K. Dobbins.
Yes.
Played out. We're going to play out nicely for him. Still among the league leaders in yards per carry last season, and this was when he was still recovering. So that's a nice pick by Arch Enemy there right after me, and Christopher Kirk, who I think actually should be going ahead of Calvin Ridley, and almost just like in this draft, you rarely see it happen. I prefer Kirk as a safer option out of the slot. I see his role not really all that impacted by Calvin Ridley's arrival.
Yeah, no, I completely agree. Yeah, you convinced me about that for sure, and so I'm in on that too. Is taking him earlier.
So, Adam, remind me of your team, your build right now. Are you still sitting at 1 quarterback?
No. I've got what do I got? I got Geno and Russell Wilson.
Oh, that's right. You're the one who took Russell Wilson so selfishly.
Yeah, that's right. I am selfish.
You didn't have to do that. You could have been cool. You could have had a gentleman's agreement. You know what? This feels like it's a bit early, but I'm going to put my money where my mouth is. I'm going to take a guy that I'm actually quite a bit higher on. No, I'm not. Do that next time. I think he might last. Just kind of all over the place here. Well, you know what? I don't really like all the options at receiver and running back, so I'm going to take a top 3 tight end on the board for me, and George Kittle.
There you go. Yeah, nice build there. So you got two quarterback staff. Yeah, it's so interesting. So back to your point about the draft room being savvy. So I stumbled across Matt Stafford in this same format, this same tournament 2 nights ago as the QB 26 in the 10th round as my 3rd quarterback.
How are you saying that, man? You're making me look bad?
Well, no, because you had to take him, right? It's QB whatever.
Half, so you got like twice the value I got. And I'm probably higher on Matt Stafford overall than the consensus. So it's perfectly logical that he would last a little bit longer than I have. But now like I feel like I'm drafting right now in a defensive mode where obviously we have a room full of sharks here that are pretty much taking the guys that I'm high on. I wonder if they actually have access to a certain person's projections and rankings. It's kind of suspicious, like I'm drafting against myself here.
Right. But no, but that's
like I said, everyone's doing a pretty sharp job here. Like I said, so it's causing me now to, like I said, to kind of draft defensively. Like, oh shit, I can't wait, anymore. It's funny. I was just mumbling to myself that I was fixing to take a player, and I was like, well, this is like at least 2 rounds too early. I don't really want to wait because I'm in that long part here between, the beginning of 7 and the end of 8, but I couldn't do it. So when I went ahead and toggled down a tight end, I mean, I have George Kittle pretty comfortably as my tight end 3. So I just figured I'll just do that. And, I like when I have an elite tight end. I just rarely do because typically when when you want to take a Travis Kelce, you're going to have to take him, towards the turn in most drafts. So I just never like my team builds almost always when I take a one of the top 3 tight ends. Typically, of course, totally different concept here in this where I was able to get Kelce moderately late, but
yeah, no, and like I said, that's the beast of Superflex. I mean, Stafford, even any quarterback you would have taken there, like eventually teams are going to stop taking. I mean, Lucky Mike has 3 quarterbacks in the first 6 or 7 rounds. I mean, that's what stands out to me the most. It's not the micro player takes. It's the builds. It's the people like, you know what? This is Superflex. I'm going to get my quarterbacks early and often. I'm not going to be left out in the cold.
And looking at now, Kyle Pitts off the board, Dallas Goedert off the board here in the 7th. I probably made, to me, the right decision in going ahead and scooping up Kittle because, like I said, he's comfortably my 3. But I would assume at this point that, had I waited at tight end, it's probably going to be a good 5 or so that go before I would have picked again. So I would have been looking at, I would have been looking at the Chig area, the Dallas Schultz, the Cole Kmet, and there's nothing wrong with those guys. Absolutely nothing wrong with those guys. But, to me, I just didn't like the value at running back and receiver there. So I took a top 3 tight end and, we'll see how it plays out.
No, I completely agree there. That's nice. And that's why I took Pitts because I'm like, if I don't take one now, I figured the team behind me needed one. He would probably take one. And Pitts, to me, I'm on Pitts again. Like he's too good to not, they had a historically low pass rate last year. They'd be down by 21 points in the first half and they'd still be throwing it. I think that's going to change this year for sure. So Pitts is just too good to not be the guy. So
we'll see. I'm just curious for all the Kyle Pitts truthers that are still out there because I'm kind of off him and I have been for a while. Is this it? Do you give it this last year? Because I remember a few years ago I tweeted and you're on the board by the way, Adam.
Yeah.
I tweeted that Eric Ebron was never going to happen, and I got a lot of. Most of it was in fun, but I got a lot of negative feedback. I remember Pat Norman, now the reigning most accurate expert, was one of the people that, jokingly said that I was clearly delusional to imply that Eric Ebron was never going to happen. But it just, at that point had been 3 or 4 years of this, this is the year, and it never happened. Of course, it finally happen with one big touchdown performance, but overall, I still feel like I was right in that regard because, Eric Ebron was not ever able to consistently be that option or be that guy in offense over there. But he did have that one glory year.
Well, I mean, correct me if I'm wrong. Did Pitts break 1,000 his first year?
I can't remember.
I think he might.
It was after that when, he just became this every year, we kept, not we, but a lot of people just kept drafting him to be this, physical marvel that he was, and it just never played out. But it finally did after, I don't know what year it finally was, your 6th or 7th year.
Well, sorry, I was talking about Pitts. Pitts' rookie year, he broke 1,000 yards. Like I think Pitts has already arrived.
Still talking about.
Yeah, I mean, he only scored one. He's only scored 3 touchdowns over 2 seasons. I mean, granted, he was hurt half the year last year, but like he was a tight end. First year averaged 15 yards a catch. Even last year, 13 yards a catch. It's like no one denies his talent except I guess Billy Muzio doesn't think he's that good at football, but I mean, he's fantastic. It's just it can't be any worse than it was last year. I still see the upside. And I'm back, especially as the tight end 5. Like last year, I was taking him in tight end premium. I was taking him at the top around 2. In regular tight end scoring, I was taking him, in the 4th. This year, man, I can get him in the 7th round as tight end 5. Like, it depends on the build too. Like, I liked where I had my 2 quarterbacks. I had 3 receivers already, and I knew if I didn't take one of the guys there, Pitts or Goddard, or even Waller, I like Waller too, that, they wouldn't be back in the next couple rounds. So, yeah, I like it. So I ended up going Mike Williams. I got sniped on Tyler Lockett by Autumn Wind. I wanted Lockett to pair up with Geno. So that kind of stung. And Williams was the last guy in my queue, not a stack, obviously, but
you can still shoot for D. Eskridge in the next round.
That's I can't wait. I got him in my queue now too. D.
Love that pick by Bronco. Isaiah Pacheco, he was the guy I was probably about to take 2 picks from now. He's a guy that I'm pretty high on. So every time I update my rankings and projections, he comes in just a hair higher. So very nicely done.
There you go.
There's not a lot of people talking about him right now.
Yeah, I think people just don't know really what to expect. I think he's just kind of like sitting there, and all those Chiefs guys, like it's like, somehow, Mahomes gets to like 6,000 passing yards.
Best ball. I'm going to. Oh,
what are you doing?
I'm trying to decide. I'm going to actually take Javonte Williams over Cam Akers, which the ADP disagrees with. But this is best ball, and I'm swinging for little fences here. So I see guys with a little bit more upside. We're hearing some positive developments on his knee recovery. So obviously that was the 2 guys right there. So overall, I'm higher. Obviously on. I'm just not a big. I don't know what to think about Akers. It was so amazing what he did down the stretch last year. I'm just not sure that he can carry over. But it felt like that was probably in a safer atmosphere. That was probably the more intelligent pick was for me to take Akers over Javonte Williams. But like I said, I don't have a lot of Javonte Williams so far, so I figured change it up. And like I said, that's more of a swinging for the upside. I think a healthy Javonte Williams and a Sean Payton offense. Really, really interesting.
Yeah, no, I
you in the 9th round.
Yeah, no,
if he's healthy.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. Well, health, of course, is going to be the key. But yeah, that's the whole thing. Is
we're reading positive things, which got me kind of excited. So we'll see.
Yep, for sure.
Close to you again. How's your what's your thought process here? Right when you see Sam Howell go. I'm assuming that is a QB3 or maybe even a QB4 for a team, but very unusual for the SuperFlex drafts that I've already done to be towards the tail end of round 9 and to have a Sam Howell gone. So obviously this room is just snatching up them quarterbacks left and right.
Yeah, I think I'm going to go. I need a running back here. I'm going to go Montgomery. I think he is my RB2. I think he's fine. I mean, if he gets the Jamal Williams role, it's like he could end up scoring 12 touchdowns still. So I think he's a fine running back, elite offensive line. Like, I mean, in this spot, I'll be fine.
How is this, as a guideline, Sam Howell at 9.9, how is this SuperFlex draft FFWC going versus the other ones that you've been regularly doing?
Yeah, I mean, the quarterbacks just got so pushed up in this one. Yeah. Like Sam Howell, I mean, Stroud, Howell. I mean, if these guys here's the thing: if they end up starting all season for their teams, he's probably Joey's probably gonna be not crushed at that. He'll probably take he should probably take 3 or 4 quarterbacks, to be honest with you. in this format, but because he's hoping to crush at running back, have a really, obviously the tight end too, and hope to be okay at receiver. So this is just a tough, like you have to be right on your micro takes to be able to pull a build like this off. And in a league where you have to start at three receivers, it gets tough when your number 3 is Godwin, and Godwin might not be even as good as Judy. And I've got 2 quarterbacks already as well. So I'm just comparing my team because I'm sitting right there next to him. But yeah, it's just going to be tough. You have to be right a lot on your player takes. I just came back. Yeah. Autumn wind again, took Smith and Jigba. They're building the Seahawks stack without the quarterback. So maybe we can make a trade after this.
Yeah, well, that'll be interesting to see if you can pull that off in a league that doesn't allow any sort of transactions.
For sure. So, but yeah, like I was okay with.
You'll counter his team nicely.
Oh yeah, yeah, that's right. Yeah, we'll see in the championship. But yeah, so that was my whole thing. There was. It's hard to wait this long. I'm okay with waiting on quarterback, but like I took, for example, me, I waited longer than a lot of teams. I went 3-4 round and got some. I think I waited later than everybody but the team that just, Stroud and Howell. It's just gonna be tough. And that's if Stroud and Howell keep the job. I'm sure Stroud will, but like Howell might not keep the job. So it's gonna be tough. All right, back to me. I'm gonna go with another upside. Running back here, I think, and I'm gonna go with Rashad Penny. I think when Penny's healthy, I think he's gonna smash for them. Like
that he's gonna be. Yep. So you're talking about September. It's gonna be the glory month for your team with the lineup.
Yeah, and then he's gonna get hurt. I'm gonna have to rely on
the lower leg, but it'll be nice when he's in there.
I mean, DeAndre Swift, he's hard to figure out because he's the range of outcomes from him. He might just not be a good running back, and so like I've heard tape guys say that he's not a good running back. He's not efficient. Now we have the team that he was on was saying the same thing, massive holes where he's getting 7 yards, but other guys would get 20. Like, so he just, he might just be a pass catching back, and Penny might be just the guy there on an elite offense with an elite line where they're going to be.
If what you're saying it turns out to be true, that's, like I said, that's problematic because, like I said, the Eagles were 32nd when it came to throwing passes to the running backs last year, which is what makes Swift a bit of a gamble. Now, I disagree with the whole he's not a good running back. I think he is. He's actually better in short yardage than people give him credit for. But Detroit, this new regime in Detroit seems to be a pretty smart staff. So yeah, the fact that they continued to limit his touches and all that, it's a little telling, but we'll see what he does with an offense that's going to be running the ball, way more often. It's a team obviously that uses multiple backs, just like he's used to as well too. So I'm really kind of curious of how that's going to play out. What is
that's one of the biggest question marks in all of fantasy is that backfield. It's exciting though. Like that's a back. You still want pieces of it though. You don't want to ignore it. Oh, I don't know. Like we don't know anything about anything.
You got everyone watching. You got 5 minutes left in the contest to like and subscribe and type "put me coach" into the chat log, and you win a DTFC seat tonight. 5-minute warning. In case you just joined us.
Yeah, no, this is the one thing I love about Scott and FFWC and full-time fans. Like they're always giving away stuff. They're always really great about their contests. Their contests love the best ROI in the business. I mean, we're talking main events with the 10K.
Yes, I haven't taken a receiver since round 4.
Dominator, stuff like that. With the 10K Dominator for their main events, like it's just such a great place to be playing at. And so yeah, it's just awesome. And kudos to them again. Just the website's been getting better and better. The play area is going to be getting better and better. The draft, it's just been so, and they have premium tools too, the ADP board, the win rate, the ADP list. It's just been really, really cool. So I'll even show, I'm going to share this tab. So here's the ADP board that I'm showing, right? So the guys that are taken are in gray, and this is a premium tool right in the draft room. All the players are in gray that have been taken. So you can really see, like, this is based on, I mean, how cool is this tool, Jody? Like if you're wondering, like, even if you just drafted using this,
perfect to use that with a tier based
yes,
approach, because you see, just looking at your screen there, you see a little, green pop out. So it's kind of like, what's the deal here,
yeah. And like, so
that guy lasts one more round.
Yeah. So my players are in light gray. The players taken, other ones are in dark gray. The players available are in the color. I mean, it's just incredible. Like nobody else has this. Lots of tools just like this in the actual draft room. So definitely one of the huge perks of drafting over here for sure. All right. So what did you just do? Cortland Sutton. That's another one. Like, hey, you just sniped me there too.
I hit on that about 10 minutes ago, that I'm kind of higher on Denver's offense overall. Yeah. So I was pretty happy to have him. I haven't taken a receiver since round 4, so I was definitely due.
You are on the clock. So we got Scott. Scott talks about team 9. So that's, Joey ended up, if he can get a bunch of receivers. I mean, 2 stud running backs, a stud to tight end. The problem is he's gonna might need some more quarterbacks too. I mean, Garoppolo is questionable, but again, this can certainly work if at
this point, it feels like Alvin Kamara is a pretty decent value at this point. I am, of course, expecting a suspension, but I think for the amount of time that he's active, in a best ball format, I think as my overall RB4, I'm okay with that. I was on another running back here, and I went ahead and swung for the fences with Kamara, because, like I said, yet again, that's what this room is, kind of forcing us to do. Yeah, not getting, obviously, and this was determined really early in this draft, but we're not getting values. Guys aren't sliding. Don't get cute, and think you're going to outsmart a couple of guys, because or gals. It's not happening in this room. So you see a guy that stands out as value, or somebody you want, you better take them.
Yep. Totally agree. And there's just, what do you do? What do you do with all these, queuing up all these guys here? I'm up in a couple picks.
Antonio Gibson, that was the other guy that I was looking at with Kamara. I think Gibson is obviously safer. I expect him to catch a ton of passes. If that's the way it plays out there, that's going to be a nice pick for you. That was my decision, was between Gibson and Kamara, and I went for the swung the fences for the pick. So nicely done.
Yeah, lots of cool builds, lots of cool late round. That's the cool thing about Superflex, man. You're like, man, Gibson's available in the 12th or the 11th round. Quentin Johnston to me was a great pick. I mean, a great value pick, I feel like, especially in best ball. He might be injuries. Keenan Allen's old and injury prone. Big Mike, who I have, I think, is old and injury.
Johnson's going to be their wide receiver 2 this year. And as we know, I believe in that role last year, Adam Thielen ran the most routes in the NFL. So Quentin Johnson obviously won't run quite that many routes, but the role that he's in for, he very easily could see well north of 120, 140 targets right away as a rookie. So wait, I'm on the wrong team.
Yeah, I thought I heard you. I heard you wrong there for a second.
Yeah.
Scratch that. So
wrong. I got the wrong. I've got Addison.
Talk to us about Jordan Addison.
Yeah, I just did. So yeah, I'm all about Jordan Addison. Quentin Johnson, got to like him too. Again, how I feel about the Chargers this year. I have Herbert is very firmly as my QB4. I'm expecting big things with Kellen Moore running that offense. So, and we all know how Mike Williams, very hit and miss. He's got his big week. Mike Williams is kind of an ideal best ball guy because you get those big weeks. But, it's smart strategy. If you could actually pair Mike Williams with Quentin Johnson, you got to like that because that pretty much gives you the Chargers' number 2 receiver for 17 weeks.
Yeah, that's what I wanted. I'm gonna go with. I got sniped again, man. I'm getting sniped all night. Gabe Davis and Elijah Moore and Antonio Gibson. I had them all in my queue. I'm gonna go Damian Harris.
That's a brutal run for you.
Yeah, it is. I'll go Damian Harris again. Best ball. He's probably gonna score 8 to 10 touchdowns in the Bills offense. So I don't have to pick when to start him, right? So he'll probably have 2 touchdown games as the goal line back, or Josh Allen's really the goal line back there, but they've been talking about having Josh take less hits. So we'll see. But I think Damian Harris will score 8 to 10 touchdowns there. He's a good runner as long as he can stay healthy. So I think Harris is a fine pick for this build as my RB4. And then I got a guy I'm hoping that comes back around to me for sure. For sure. It's starting to really dry up for me at the receiver position here, so I'm glad I got a couple early. But we'll see what how this ends up playing out here.
I mean, yeah, you're pretty much right.
But I've been getting sniped all night by these guys.
It's kind of uncool of y'all, by the way, to do that.
Right, come on.
It's encumbered with trying to run the draft and trying to run this podcast. Y'all at least could quit taking all this cash. Yeah, ask Roy. We're gonna start it over. We're all gonna be a little bit friendlier to Adam here.
That's right.
Nice. Another nice pick by Adam Wind. AJ Dillon this late as I don't know. Check the ADP. What is that? RB. He's got to be close to RB 35, RB 40 in this draft already. Are we getting?
Yeah, he was RB 39 actually.
Yeah, that's nice.
He was in my queue, and it was between Dillon and Harris, but I wanted someone who's going to start a little bit sooner, maybe. And I don't mind convinced Dillon's good, but I'm going to go with probably we were one of my last running backs. I'll probably take Zach Charbonnet. Again, a guy that's an injury away, rookie running back injured. He reminds me a lot of Rashad Penny, the way that he runs.
It gives you another Seattle guy,
another Seahawk. That's right.
You got to get some parts of your failed stack.
Yep, for sure. I probably have way too many running backs for like what my build would have called for. Like I went 4 straight backs. But hey, it's just how it fell. The receivers really dried up.
To be through 11 rounds and to have an even distribution of 2, 4, 4, 1. It wasn't what I was expecting, but that's just the way it played out.
Interesting.
When I started with 3 of my first 4 picks were wide receiver, and then pretty much just abandoned the position after that.
For sure. And so, what team do you like the best, Jody? I'm kind of looking at other than our own, obviously, but it's interesting. The team that went hero RB with ETN and 3 straight quarterback, at least they stuck to like their build, right? Like I'm going to go 3 quarterbacks, 1 running back, and 1 million receivers in a row here. And then probably could just come back to tight end and running back. I'm not sure it'll work, but that's interesting. I really like, but one of my favorite starts was honestly Lucky Mike. Like I really like Lucky Mike's team. It was Jefferson, Kelsey. That's great. Started late with quarterback, but didn't get too late because I kind of like Pickett. Was able to still get a workhorse in Henry. So you got Goff, Pickett, and Young. 3 guys that are going to start all year.
Getting a 3rd quarterback for that build was integral.
Yes.
Especially, I think when all's said and done, I'm going to be higher on both of the rookie quarterbacks this year. I think the way Stroud and Young are set up, It's possible they're going to come in around the QB 20 range for me, which obviously means they're very relevant in Superflex. But I'm talking like from an overall perspective. I feel like CJ Stroud's kind of being overlooked, and obviously Bryce Young. I mean, we know he's starting. Both of them are starting, right away from day one. And you just, with the Texans, the receiving core is just kind of problematic with the lack of depth, and
Yeah,
you got a situation where Bobby Trees is going to be your number one guy. I'm gonna go for a little more upside here at receiver, and I'm gonna go for Odell Beckham, who could be Baltimore's wide receiver 1. I'm not sure. I actually expect him to be wide receiver 2, but sounds like they're planning on throwing the ball a lot, so we'll see. And he's got a lot to prove. So he's healthy. He's rested.
Yep. Yeah, for sure. Hopefully he stays healthy. And so, yeah, lucky Mike. I really like that build, but the top guys at position still got 3 starting quarterbacks. Henry, a workhorse. Madison could go up in value for sure. So that team I like, and I also like team 1. Getting 2 starting quarterbacks again with Mahomes, Adams, Brown, Hopkins, DJ Moore still gets the 4 receivers. And it's running back by committee with Rashad White, Pacheco, Cook. I don't love them, but you don't need them to be great when you're loading up at quarterback and receiver. Quentin Johnston was probably a value pick for this team. I love that Quentin Johnston pick for them too. So those probably.
I would love it even more if he was on Minnesota, apparently.
That's right. That is right.
I was writing up rookie wide receivers earlier today, and I just got my wires crossed there with the guys I had back to back.
Listen, you are a ranking master champion. Okay, we know you know your guys. Okay, and I'm not worried about that. It's the last thing I'm worried about. What I am worried about is getting some more receivers in this draft, because they are flying off the board.
Well, what's your let's see your.
Well, I've got four receivers with Chase, Watson, Judy, and Williams. But when you can start 3 to 4, you're probably not going to start 5 because you want to start that quarterback. But I really would like to be a little bit deeper. I probably should have taken every time I wanted to take a receiver the last 4 rounds, I got sniped on one of the receivers. So I ended up taking a running back when I rather than reach for receiver. But I think I can get a couple here later. And it's best ball too. So I like late receivers in best ball because receivers are more likely to have that one big play and score a touchdown. Like, hey, he had 2 catches for 86 yards and a score. Whereas running backs, unless they get like a high volume, it's going to be tough for them to get a touchdown.
I'm not really that high on Trey Lance, but I need to do something to leverage quarterback just a little bit. And if something plays out where he gets traded or Brock Purdy isn't healthy, then that's kind of picks you want to make at this point in a draft, especially when everything is so dried up. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm just starting to take guys that I normally would never take in this range. I've actually just started, with Alvin Kamara, Odell Beckham, and now Trey Lance. I've just started being like, you know what? I'm just going to start, I'm going to go against ADP here, and I'm just going to start, kind of swinging for the fences. And that's what this room is, kind of.
That's right. Open your mind to the power.
You kind of want to employ in best ball, but it's not without its detractors. And look at that really interesting premium draft tools up there at the top of everyone's screen. It's in the draft room. Is you can use that win rate key, which can actually help you make decisions. But that's really, really interesting little tool that's available too.
So many good tools. Honestly, it's the best draft room in the industry. It's out with all the tools. You have to be a premium member, but it's totally worth it, especially if you're going to be high volume for sure. The Put Me In Coach contest is now closed. The drawing will be coming soon. I'm excited. I didn't put Me In Coach, but hopefully they know that I meant it. I said it like 5 times. Does that count? No, I don't know.
Alex is upset at Bronco now too. I hear you, Alex. I understand. Bronco's another person that made some pretty good picks throughout this draft too. So.
There you go. Yeah. And we're going to have people on the show too. Maybe we'll have Bronco on the show to talk about this.
That's going to be part of where you're coming in. You're going to start, interviewing some of the savvy players out there and having some of the more successful and best high stakes action players out there. You're going to be interviewing them, talking to them about strategy and how to win. And that's going to be an awesome show that you do as well.
Oh, I'm super annoyed with Dalton Kincaid going right there. Kincaid is really far down on like the ADP list, and I've been getting him every draft I've wanted, and I was about to take him here, and a fleet Alex found him hiding.
Yeah, he was just calling out Bronco in the chat room for taking all the good picks, and now you need to call him out.
That's right. Well, I just did.
Alex, you've upset Adam.
I'm fired up. I'm fired up now.
He's so upset. He's so upset. He's gonna shave off his beard tonight.
No, now I'm just gonna wait. Now I'm just gonna wait on tight end. I'm gonna take a guy that I want to put this into the universe. Okay, can we have Hunter Renfrow back, please? Where did Hunter Renfrow go? The guy, remember he was third in Renfrow. I mean, the guy's still, what is he, 27? Like he's like in his prime. Why is Hunter Renfrow not a thing there? We got Josh McDaniels, who loves the slot position. Like, what happened there, Jody? What happened?
I don't, Josh McDaniels is what happened. That guy, has proved himself time after time to be a, fairly incompetent, head coach and evaluator talent. And look at all the money they just spent on Jacoby Myers. What are they doing over there?
I mean, yeah, he's 27.
They got rid of their number one receiver, their best option well, not number one receiver, but they got rid of Darren Waller, who before Devontae Adams was there, was their top option. And, they think they're going with a combo of Austin Hooper over there. I don't know.
We have a winner, Jody. Winner, chicken dinner. Congratulations, Matthew Perazzola. I hope I pronounced that right. Matthew Perazzola of the Put Me in Coach contest. So congratulations.
Congratulations.
What does he win, Jody? Tell him.
He gets the ticket for tonight, right?
He's getting all types of tickets. Scott, what does he get? FF ticket worth $359. Ooh, it's not. I don't even think it's for tonight. I think it's whenever.
It's the TTFC. Yes.
Yeah, the $350. Wow.
Oh, he's winning the big boy. Nice.
That's right. That's awesome. Congratulations, Matt. Let me know when you're in. I'll jump in with you for sure.
That one's nicely done. $350.
That is really, really sweet. A $350 for tonight. Yep, it is. It is for tonight.
I'd be kind of curious if how this draft would have played out differently if it were one of the higher the mid stakes contests like this, because the draft. This is approaching. It's still early June, so I've been at it doing drafts since pretty much since the
Super Bowl.
So yeah, since February, and this has been I don't know what's the word. I mean, a very hectic draft. This has been one of the more unusual Superflex drafts that I've done. I'm not the kind of person that typically has to get into this aggressive where I just start taking guys a round or two earlier just because it's a survival thing. But it started out, Adam. It just started out so wonderfully. With me getting number one pick. Top 3 pick. I'm able to take Jalen Hurts off to a good start, and then it just, all these fellow savvy drafters started selfishly taking all the players that I wanted for myself, and clearly they were, out after you two, and I feel targeted, and I
feel targeted.
I don't like it, and
well, you want to know what I like? I like that Matt Perazzola won a FTFC at 10 p.m. tonight. The ticket for that, if we get off this pod and that thing's still available, I might just jump into that one too, because I love drafting over here and I love drafting for big prize pools. But I'm on the clock here. Why don't we each make one more pick and then let's get the heck out of here. It's been over an hour. We want to get prepped for any more drafts we got going on tonight. So I'm gonna pick
after round 14 after Adam takes his guy. Let's see what am I gonna do here?
Well,
again, I'm gonna say as we're getting ready to finish round 14 that you guys have done a really good job in this draft, taking a very, a lot of players that I wanted. You forced me to go in an uncomfortable direction for the draft. So that's well done for somebody like myself who's been drafting for months and have been doing this, for a long, long time. Kudos, props to you guys for throwing me off my game tonight.
Listen, these people are ready. People gone are the days of people not. We're in June. If a lot of my friends are like, "Hey, how many have you done?" I'm like, I haven't done. What you're drafting? I'm like, what do you? I've got like 100 drafts.
Early to be drafting? Like what? What? No. What are you talking about?
Thank God for best ball. That's all I'm gonna say.
Part-timers.
But yeah, again, before you
people who only care about fantasy football as a little hobby that you take care of from Sundays from August through December. Come on now.
My friends always want me to Bills games. Like I've probably been to 100 Bills games over here in the Buffalo area. But like, they're like, what do you like? I only go to primetime games. They're like, why? I'm like, because Sunday morning I'm setting 100 lineups almost. Yeah. Like I don't have time to be drinking with you losers. No offense to all the people who are going to the games, but
I remember going back before everyone had smartphones, before everything was so prominently available at the tip of your hands. I remember going to NRG Stadium in Houston and looking at the scoreboard and just wondering who scored, like what's going on. And I just felt so naked because I didn't know what was going on in any other games. And I've always been a commissioner. So I was kind of like, man, what is going on? And of course, this is back in the infancy before, smartphones were really prevalent, but when you went into a stadium with 60-something thousand people, you pretty much had no cell phone signal. So yeah, I wouldn't know what was going on, and I just hated it. And everything is so expensive. There's so many people there, and I don't want to watch one game, Adam. I want to watch 7 or 8. I want to watch the box, going on. And now I'm usually busy working as I'm watching it.
Correct.
Football, so I can't go to games. I mean, I'd be like you. The only game I could go to would be, a
prime time.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah. To be honest, I don't want to. The experience is just better at home.
Yeah. You're on the clock. And while you do that, I'm going to kind of close this out here. Shout out to everyone for joining us tonight. This was fun. We are going to do a ton of these. Like I would much rather do drafts and do player takes and draft takes and stuff like this than just talk about
the second time
outside of drafting. So, shout out to everyone coming out. Shout out to Harry Thigh, Godfather, and Autumn Wind of pounding, and Lucky Mike and pounding those quarterbacks early. Well done. I'm super excited to see how this draft plays out, how this tournament plays out, playing for $5,000. And like I said, I came in top 10 last year. I love this format over here, the SuperFlex Bowl. So the chat's so fun. I love the chat. We have Matt LeConte trying to steal this ticket. Nice try, Matt. But yeah, so great job tonight, everybody. Love the different strategies. That's why I love SuperFlex. Jody, any closing comments before we get out of here?
No, again, I just want to compliment everyone. I think they did a pretty good job here of disallowing us to not get
dominate.
Yeah, I really liked the aggressive approach by people to take them quarterbacks early because it kind of set up for a really, really haphazard draft, and it's been a lot of fun. So
it's been a great time. So,
and, by the way, Adam is going to be doing his own little take and write up on this draft, and I'll have that published probably Friday.
Yes. Sorry. So I will be doing my little takes on this. So we'll talk about that a little bit more. And just to counteract what you said before we get out of here is, yes, this is probably my 5th one of these. I'm going to do plenty more. And this is my least favorite team that I've built. So kudos to all you guys who didn't let us, the men and women who didn't let us do what we wanted to do. So on behalf of Jody, you can find him at Jody Smith NFL over here at Full Time Fantasy. I am at Adam_Krautwurst. You can find me here as well. Articles, podcasts every single week. So that's it. And we'll see you guys next time.